All right, Shalom. First, I'd like to start by saying all praise to Yahweh, by Hashem Shai, by Hashem Kakadash, double honors to the elders and the apostles that we will. Salutations to the brothers that store the truth and sincerity. This is community outraged as mom, young son beaten by mob of kids. So I'm going to press play on the video and then add the precepts.
So outraged in Chicago after video captures a mother and her 9-year-old son being harassed and then badly beaten by grade school children while walking near a school. We talked to two leaders of that Chicago community in just a moment, but first, let's go to Mike Tobin live there with the details. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning. Parents and, frankly, people all over Chicago are now kind of horrified and outraged at this video that's not going viral. It has gone viral of a mother and a 9-year-old son who were mobbed and beaten by a group of school-age bullies. Now, the video is a bit brutal, so be ready for that. But it shows this mother and the aggressiveness of the kids increasing as Korshwanda Hatter tries to protect her son. Finally, this mob of youngsters started to strike Korshwanda and her 9-year-old son. They were both knocked to the ground, and the beating continued.
Hey, fool, let my homie go. Let my homie go. Let my mother.
She says her son had been bullied at She says her son had been bullied at school for 2 years, and the school did nothing to protect him, so she showed up to walk her kids home. Now, Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson did say, he put out a statement on X that he was deeply disturbed, and we should not attempt to normalize this type of senseless violence. Chicago police put out a statement saying both victims were transported to Trinity Hospital in serious condition. No one is in custody at this time. The Area 2 detectives are investigating. And Illinois State Senator Willie Preston said this video is a symptom of something that's been going on for a long time, that the kids have not been held accountable and the parents have not been held accountable for the actions of their children. Guys, back to you.
All right, thanks so much. So our next guests know this family very well. Chicago Councilmember Joseph Williams met with the mom after the attack, and Pastor Corey Brooks, founder of Project Hood, knows the boy who attends his after-school and summer programs. Gentlemen, thanks so much for joining the program. Pastor, you know, this is something that you have been working with for years now, trying to stop nonsense like this with our young people. What's going on?
Well, unfortunately, this is the cycle that we continue to see in the city of Chicago, where violence is so rampant and parents are being held unaccountable. And that's the reason why I'm walking across America, trying to get people to wake up in our urban areas so they can understand the magnitude of the issues that we're faced with every single day. Chicago is just a microcosm of what's going on across America. These young people are unruly. They have no moral compass. And we need organizations to really work hard to make sure we change the direction of our neighborhoods. If we're ever going to change the trajectory of our young people, we got to catch them early. We got to continue to do the work. But the tragedy is, in Chicago right now, we're facing some devastation that has been going on for years, and we need to get a handle on it.
This is what the mother had to say about this incident. Let's play it.
I'm trying to get justice for my son. They fought my son, they hit my son first, all in his face. Then they dragged me in the grass and pulled my little baby hair.
We haven't held these kids accountable. We haven't held parents accountable. No mother should be that helpless and be targeted by children inside of her own community.
Councilman, where is the fear and respect? I remember growing up, we were afraid of the neighbors because we knew that they was going to get us, and then our parents was going to get us when we got home as well. None of that respect seems to exist anymore, Councilman.
Yeah, you know what? I completely agree. I think we've gone away from that, and we have to get back to those days. I think no mother and child, or children rather, should have to experience something so traumatic. To look at that video and to see you guys replay it, it's a horrifying video. I mean, it shows the disrespect. No child should ever feel comfortable putting their hands on an adult. And I think, as Senator Preston said, and many have said it, is that this has gone on for so long, right? The mother has come to the school and talked about this, and nothing had been done about it. It had not been addressed. And the thing about it is that, I was glad to be there to be a support to that family and to help them through the process. But this is so much bigger than just that school. This is happening throughout the Chicago public school system. Many children are being bullied, and we have to put measures in place and make sure that those parents' voices are being heard and that those children's voices are being heard. Because if not, this can really overspill into something even bigger, I believe.
It's so true, Councilman, and it is already spilling into the streets outside of the school. Pastor, I want to get your comments on this repeat offender in Chicago with a lengthy rap sheet. He's accused of setting a woman on fire while they're on the train.
So this is
No. Yeah, man. That's what happens in Chicago. That's always been happening. A lot of that got to do with the gangs. But it's ultimately because Jake don't want to hold each other accountable. They one don't want to come back to the Lord. Two, the leadership. You know, the sellers of our nation is to blame with this. And, ultimately it's Yabba Shema Shai. But that just show you that two women are in trouble. You know, uh, when all hell breaks loose, it's gonna be kids that's gonna be banding together, going out there beating and killing people. That's just an example. Uh, and if I'm not mistaken, she pregnant as well. When you see the video, but what happened was after a lot of the neighborhood came together and went to the school, to curse the kids out. You know? And after that, what happened? Oh, the mothers of some of these kids were on the internet get on the internet and curse their kids out in front of the camera for everybody, which they shouldn't have fucking did. But the black woman's fucking stupid. But that's part of the curses that's Jake them up under because it's the black woman that's ruling the house right now. And we even got one woman that even made that statement in the video. Your father is not here. It's just us, me running. Raising y'all and the kids act like they was crying and shit. That ain't gonna do nothing. Black women don't know how to raise a kid. You supposed to whoop their ass. And if they can, and according to the scriptures, they continue to be unruly, they're supposed to be put to death. But Jacob them not trying to uphold the law, statutes, commandments according to the Bible. Not only that, shit, they not the reason why it's so much gang violence in the community in the Chicago is because and it's really around the world, but it's because of the women raising the kids. Esau set this system up the way it is. So they can lock Jake up and throw Jake in jail, and then the women, it's part of that reason because, like I said, they can't raise children. They can't raise young sons. They can't raise children at all. When you date black women and whatnot, uh, their raising tactics is destroying the children. You know, one because they ain't got the truth, but two because they are unfit and weak parents. Sleazy, weak. Society's got the weak mentally on the decisions they make, you know. So that's why this type of stuff is going on. That's all right. The Lord that's supposed to go for the listen. You got the prophets out there. All right. This is Proverbs chapter 22, verse 6. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. Right? And these bitches be damn sure claiming themselves to be Christians, right? Watching these videos of these rappers on this podcast, they be saying that they Christian, and Jake them always saying they Christian. And, that's what my mother and them uh, had us believing in, but they don't go in detail and in depth on what it means to be a Christian. That's why they're out here just killing and robbing and stealing. You're supposed to train up a child in a way that he shall go, and when he is old, he will not depart. Train him up in what? Righteousness. Not off your own will, off your own heart. Train him up to what he's supposed to be doing. You know, as a young man, as a young woman. You know, this is Job chapter 14, verse 1. Man that is born of a woman is of few days and full of trouble. Right? A man that is raised by a woman, a few days and full of trouble. As you can see, they came together and jumped that woman and her children. You know, not only that, uh, they out here stealing. They out here in Chicago. They out here carrying guns at 10, 11, 12. Why? Because the woman cannot raise a man. Not just this scripture is just based on the man. The woman can't raise a man. The girls doing it too. A lot of this in Chicago got to do with the gang activity, though, which is the worship of the devil. And the leader's not saying nothing because they getting paid to look the other way, and they were born into gangs themselves, or eventually getting involved with gangs themselves. This is Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 54. So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, the young men of our nation used to be brotherly, basically. Um, his mind shall be evil toward his brother. They out here killing each other. They being taught to kill each other at an early age, and then they eventually start killing each other, man. And the mind is evil towards his brother. He's always plotting on his brother. This is Hosea 4:1 right here. And toward the wife of his bosom, he even hates his woman, treats his woman like shit. You know, and toward the remnant of his children, which he shall leave. This is why the Israelite man, the black Native American, is leaving their children. That's a curse upon them. That's why these houses don't have a men in it. That's why the white man put two women in charge during the late 60s, early 70s, under the Food Stamp Act. And you bitches so fucking stupid that y'all just go with the trends. Now watching TV and letting TV raise y'all kids. Y'all don't sit down with y'all children and go through these precepts on how a child's supposed to act and abide by it. You know, verse 55. Uh, and this right here is history. This is coming back for you children, so that he will not give to any of them of the flesh of his children, whom he shall eat. Your fathers will eat you in the coming days. This happened in Masada. The men were eating the children, though. Uh, it says, because he hath nothing left him in the siege, and in the straitness wherewith thine enemy shall distress thee in all thy gates. Right, this happened in 70 AD during the time of Masada when they did their siege on Masada. They locked them in there, made it to where they couldn't come out. So they eventually end up not having any food and end up eating each other, man. This is coming back. That's why Esau got all these troops scattered everywhere, because this is happening again on this side. The cannibalism is going to happen again. Verse 55, 56, it says, the tender and delicate woman among you, which would not adventure to set the sole of her foot upon the ground for delicateness and tenderness, how women used to be uh, uh, feminine towards each other as well, soft and delicate. You know, now they're fucking heathen, what do you say, B2000s. Animals, man. Wolverines and shit, man. They're going to be men, demons and shit, you know. Her eyes shall be evil toward her husband of her bosom. Right, that's why scripture said the woman is full of traps. She's always scheming and trying to trap you with something, or get you killed. You know, not food stamps, child support. The eye means the mind. Her thinking process towards her husband is evil. She don't give him no respect. And toward her son, it's evil towards the son. That's why the sons are acting out like how they act out here. You know, and toward her daughter. The same situation with the daughter. And then they put the kids out at 17, 18, you know, and always threaten them with putting them out at 17, 18, you know, or even earlier, depending on your mother, you know. And toward the young one that cometh from between her feet, and toward her children which she shall bear, for she shall eat them, even your mothers will be eaten. So you children out here that your mama can't put up with you and deal with you, she really ready to take you out, you know, but she knows she's gonna be put in jail, you know. She's sitting there, she gonna eventually start sitting there plotting to eat you. And you know, our people know what's going on. They just don't want to do the truth. Um, they plotting on when all hell break loose, on what type of mentality and what type of spirit they gonna have on. They ain't sitting there plotting. And shit, I'm just turning to a cannibal. You know, I'm not gonna start. Everybody's already know what's coming upon this place, so they already plotting in their mind how they gonna react to it, even though they're not really preparing. You know, in a lot of these households, like the militias, white people militias and things like that. Oh, they preparing. They don't know what's going on. They just, you know, don't care enough to really uh, act upon it, don't have the resources to act upon it, and or just don't want to follow the truth, man. For she shall eat them for wanting of the all things secretly in the siege and straitness wherein thy enemy shall distress thee at thy gates. Thy enemy is this white man. The Romans did that to Jake during the time of Masada. Who are the Romans today? These white people, that's their forefathers. They're doing it right over again, man. They're gonna do it right over again. There's gonna be a famine in this place. They already put the troops in the cities. They said Trump said he want 500 troops in each city just in case of a riot or whatever the case may be, and they use this food share incident to pull that off. And then before the food share incident came the whole immigration, where they start sending troops in various cities and Marines and things like that. All this is orchestrated. All this is being done on purpose, intentionally, you know, because they need to lock America down, bringing this new world order and start this depopulation agenda. 500 million across the world, though. And we all know that there's 8 billion, then there 9 billion people. So they want the population to be reduced to 500 million around the world. That's a total. And then this guy on my right with this walk across America, I think he said he was a fucking pastor. Why the fuck he ain't bring out any precepts, man? And the mayor going through something. He on camera, his teeth all yellow, fucked up. Everybody going through something, man. Everybody gonna be involved in what's to come too, though. You know, and these guys are your leaders, and they're supposed to be responsible for keeping on point with the truth. But they don't want the truth, man. There's no money in it. It's in Isaiah chapter 3, verse 12. That's for my people. Children are the oppressors, the child of Esau, the white man. And women rule over them. They put the women in charge over these houses. Lifting up the women in the society. That's why you see that things like this going on. That's why so much gun violence in Chicago, because the children are made women around the house and they don't know how to raise. And one, two, they don't know how to raise women as well. You know, oh my people, they would lead thee, cause thee to err, right? The mayors, the governors, the pastors, and destroy the way of thy paths, right? They don't want you to understand and accept the truth, so they talking down upon the truth in their congregation, man. You know, they're giving y'all false philosophies.